self-service. So what does that mean? So an application or a use case of that would be the ability to make scheduled or unscheduled ad hoc type calls. So I can, at any time, I can generate, like a lot of audio conferencing systems now, I can do something right now if I want to. Mobile location independent resource pooling. So this is basically taking a computationally intensive thing like compression of media, like this video that they're doing right now in the back of the room here. They're going to videotape and video on demand. So if you're going to play it back later, or you're going to do a real-time video, a broadcast video, or IPTV or something like that, that's pretty intensive. That's burning a lot of pipe, and there's some compression algorithms and so forth. Those are expensive. Those require DSPs, ASICs basically. So one way to get around that from a cost perspective and a scale perspective to address the scale is to put it on general purpose servers with a virtualized component, so that you can spread the load, and you can also have scale and resource pooling. You can use these resources in any generic data server environment, just software. Like a lot of protocols in the routing world, the networking world, the security world, and the UC world, there's a lot of protocols that are in there, SIP, H323, etc. The end user doesn't care. They want all that complexity hidden from them. So there's got to be some notion of a gateway or interoperability to make sure these are all translated, so the end user never notices any difference and notices any complexities in doing whatever they're doing, whatever cloud application they're doing. And I think the last one is really about open network access. So if I'm an enterprise, and I think I maybe already said this once, I can now roll out applications B2C. So my business to my consumer, my customer, my client. Right? It could be as simple as a Facebook page that's doing marketing on it. That'd be a more passive form of a cloud solution where they can enter a comment section, and basically a file comes back to the enterprise. Or it could be more interactive, like a call center application, where instead of picking up a phone and calling or entering a chat window, you have a video conference from a web page where you can talk to the enterprise. And the studies show that it's a much more effective closure of a problem, much more quick without having a truck roll. Somebody has to go out there and do it, because you can do it over a conference. Or you can have them, I talked to the government folks this earlier today, you can have as a revenue collection. You could have an online revenue collection for making your tax payments or whatever. Now for this audience, it'd be more appropriate to say, e-commerce stores. And then single APIs for integration in third-party systems. So application programming interfaces, usually XML-based, for tying into back-end OSS and BSS systems, so billing and provisioning systems. That's important, because there's a lot of in-house scripts and tools already available in most enterprise. So this is my second to last slide, and then I think we're going to ask some questions, right? Maybe, if we have time. So it's a little hard to see, but I'll paint a picture for you. So this is a network diagram, and this could be any network diagram for any kind of topology. It could be, in this case, it's for UC, unified communication, but it could be for routing or switching. We have our headquarters in the center, the middle center. We have customer A, customer B across the bottom, and then we have branch office A. So this is a partner or a supplier sorry, no, this is a branch office. So this is a subsidiary branch office. It could be the next city over branch office. And then we have our internet, we have our remote users, our teleworkers. So applying these four constructs over top of this, we have on-demand self-service. So E164, SIP URI, those are acronyms. My apologies for that. Basically, that's your username, a simple DNS type username for somebody to be able to connect. Common username for like an email address, for example, is a pretty common one that people use. Obviously, we want to hide a lot of things that we talked about, like NAT firewall traversal in this case, or the protocols that are used for signaling, H323 or SIP. People don't care about that. They just want to have it work. In terms of mobile independent resource pooling, so if I'm an enterprise or service provider or government, I need multi-tenancy. I already covered this. So the ability to partition and have different policies that I can enforce for different users. So if I'm a service provider, it's gold, silver, bronze type service. If I'm enterprise, it could be branch office. In this case, branch office A versus headquarters. It could be a different profile. Or within branch office A, the HR group could have one profile, and the finance group would have a different one. Different permissions, different security parameters, different controls, different level of service. And I already covered point 3 in terms of the virtualization. And then network access, I think I covered this as well, right? This is the B2B and B2C notion. I think I covered it in the previous slide. So in terms of the value proposition, I try to break it up into basically 3 stakeholders. One is the end user. The end user wants collaboration that's simple and easy to use. That's what they care about, right? That's the employee of the enterprise or the customer for the enterprise. Corporations and government entities, what do they care about? Well, they care about costs. They want efficiencies. They want quicker time to market for new products and solutions. They want people to focus on the strategies of the company, not the tactics of the company. So productivity. And then they care a lot about finance model. So OpEx, as I've already said, buying what you need as you need it, or CapEx, where you buy it and you own it. And we'll talk about whether you want to own it or buy it or basically lease it. And we'll go through the checklist of the next section here. And then service providers, they can use cloud models to offer differentiated services and increase ARPU, average revenue per user, for their install base, their subscribers' install base. So in terms of the checklist, the things that help determine, and this is just a high-level kind of list, so it's not exhaustive or very scientific, is this cloud application, whatever it is it storage, is it email, is it security as a service, is it part of my mission-critical application? Is it something really close to me and my identity as a company? Is it part of my core competency? Is it something that I own intellectual property in? Is it something that we are selling? How stringent are my IT security requirements? Well, some applications are more strictly controlled than others. Some places really are very strict about the security across the board. But it varies depending on the application and the functional group that it supports. How big is my organization? Do I have branch offices everywhere? Do I interface with my customers? Some companies are behind the scenes. They're more wholesale oriented, so they don't actually interface with customers. But if you do, you have the whole opportunity with the B2C notion of a cloud to take advantage of the social generation, this millennial folks that I talked about at the beginning of my talk. And am I multinational? Do I want to peer with other multinationals or government agencies? Do I want to talk to other companies, either subsidiaries or partners internationally? Okay. That's my talk. Now I think I'm supposed to pause for questions.
Are there any questions for Cary? Right, there's one there.
Okay.
Cary, this is Ravi Ranjan from 4 Solutions.
Hi.
What kind of cloud solutions do you have in Polycom? So that is what is intriguing me.
You mean it wasn't obvious from my presentation what kind of cloud solutions we had?
No, but your presentation was quite a generic one.
Well, okay, I'll tell you that I didn't want to make it a party pitch. There's a stand in the next building across the way on the lobby level. We have a lot of things that I talked about in veiled terms here in terms of unified collaboration. So Cloud Access is our web-based portal and web-based client. And I think that in all earnestness, I mean, that's the equation I think that we need for interoperability is web browser, email address, internet access. Everybody's pretty much got those things. With those, you can connect to any endpoint that we have or any multi-vendor, working with our competitors like Cisco and our partners like Microsoft. So, does that answer the question?
Yeah, so these solutions are in your core areas of video conferencing, is it?
Yes, video conferencing. Video and audio conferencing. We'll pay you later for that question. Thank you. Oh, come on, there's got to be some more questions. Come on.
There's a question there.
It's blinding.
Someone taking the mic.
Just want to ask, most of the applications, most of the applications, I'm a consultant. In fact, I'm a management consultant in HR. So I just wanted to know, I mean, apart from the time to market and other applications you mentioned, what would be the HR kind of, interfaces where such things can be useful? Maybe training or maybe, anything that's,
that's a really good question. So actually, HR is one of the leaders in terms of cloud applications. There's no affiliation with my company at all. There's a really good one from SAP called SuccessFactors, which does performance management. So it's an online web-based tool that allows you to rate your employees' performance and then give the feedback mechanism. So all the things that HR people talk about, performance evaluation. It's a pretty powerful tool. I think that there's also talent management from a company called Taleo. They're based out of Pleasanton, I think, in the Bay Area. And I'm sure I'm shorting a bunch of others, but there's actually, that's one area that there's a lot of cloud applications in is human resources.
There's another question.
Yeah.
Does the Polycom have any cloud solutions? Something like Skype, but more secure and
Yeah. So the question was, does Polycom have something more secure, like Skype, that's maybe more secure? Well, I think Skype's great, so I'm not going to slam Skype. I think that we have something that called Cloud Access, which uses a person's browser, and by default, you're going to be using TLS for encryption. So that really negotiates a symmetric key, so it's usually AES, 128-bit encryption. So you're basically taking your communication, you're talking securely to a server. So in that sense, it's more secure than Skype, I think. I'm not a Skype expert. I think, though, the biggest security vulnerability, and this is a US example, so my apologies because this is not a US audience, but is that a lot of people, a lot of enterprise IT don't like Skype because they have no notion of control of the user. People use Skype because it's easy. It's obviously very successful. There's like 600 million subscribers worldwide. So it's obviously done something right, and we don't want to hurt that. Microsoft's a partner of ours. But I think that the IT administrator has no notion or awareness of what these people are doing with this. It's what they're using this for. So it's a whole.
from an encryption point of view, Skype is quite secure, but mine was more closed, more closed application.
Yeah, so it's so if I understand your question correctly, what it does is you have control of the user, right? Skype. If I'm an enterprise IT and Skype's not a supported application, it's not supported by me. I have no notion of it. The Skype users are basically rogue employees, for lack of a better term. They're using it to talk to their friends and coworkers, maybe offline, but not a supported application for the enterprise. Now, it's a different question, different answer if it's supported, but a lot of places it's not supported by the enterprise, right? So what we provide at Polycom is a vehicle to bring that into the family, into the control of the IT administrator, along with all the other endpoints, be they phone systems, group systems, room systems, tablet clients, desktop clients, etc. They're all brought into one control point with management, provisioning, monitoring, APIs that hang off of that for data mining as well. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, hi. This is Kalhan Kaul from Consulting Pasky.
Okay.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Kalhan Cole from Consulting Paski. I just want to ask you that the technology remaining constant, is it that cloud is OpEx centric? That is the main advantage in terms of financial terms?
Yeah, this is my last question, so okay. I think that that's a very big part of it, is the financial equation, right? The ability to do OpEx versus CapEx. I think that there are other financial benefits as well in terms of specialization, right? You can specialize in your business, your core business, and you don't have to necessarily, if I had a pie chart of how IT spends its time, IT could be looking at next generation tools and projects as opposed to doing user upgrades, right? Employees could do self-registration, they can do self-provisioning. I use that example a couple times, so apologies. And that means that IT doesn't have to be hands-on with its people as much. So that translates into money saved as well. So, but the OpEx, your question is correct. I think that's a big advantage. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm getting the hook. Yeah, so I'll be here at the conclusion for more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cary, for your presentation. If there are any more questions, Cary will be with us for the day, and you can ask him during the networking sessions. Cary, if I can have your time for 1 more minute, we have a token of appreciation for your time here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.